Welcome back to the 411 show. We're here with TJ, who is a on-air talent at Radio 1 here in Cleveland. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Pretty good. How was the...
It is hot.
It's hot?
Yes.
How was the drive?
Well, I got lost on the way here.
Oh.
Because I thought you guys were on the other end of the building, but... of the street, but I'm good now.
We're glad you're here?
I'm from Cleveland, so, you know.
Yeah, earlier you were telling me offset that you actually live in Cleveland and Akron.
Yes. Now, I'm not balling. Don't get it twisted.
Okay.
Well, I went to school in Akron, and I work at a radio station out in Akron as one of the directors. And I'm working in Cleveland. I grew up in Cleveland. So it's just, as weird as it sounds, it's easier for me to live in both instead of just living one and go, you know what I'm saying? It's too much with that, with gas. And the news we got yesterday, gas never going back below $3 again.
Oh,
yeah,
that's really crazy.
Yeah, I need both cribs.
So your show at Radio 1, it's called Takeoff.
Yes.
And it's on Saturdays, correct?
Mm-hmm. Saturdays, Sundays. Mm-hmm.
Oh.
On Z1079.
All right. And so why is it called a Takeoff show? Like, I know everybody has their own reason why they name their show.
Well, the reason I called it the Takeoff is because I want everybody just to take off in every aspect of their life. Education, kicking it, just doing something with your life in general. Like, let's take off. Let's go. Don't just sit still, you know?
So you don't sit still on your show at all?
No, not at all. I'm always jumping around, something like that, moving, kick, you know, vibing out, bobbing my head. Something. You just gotta stay out here.
So you graduated from the University of Akron in 2010, correct?
Go Zips, yep.
All right, and you major in business communication?
Yes.
What's the difference?
Well, see, the reason why I wanted to major in business, and that's my alarm clock still going off because I'm not a morning person. The reason why I did business and organizational communication was because I wanted to, you know, work with people like you and work in the communication field and learn communication techniques, but also wanted to learn the business side of it. So I did business, communication, and marketing. And it was really, I kind of created my own major, so to speak.
Okay, to be honest, I've actually never heard of people saying business communication. I've really heard communication, journalism, you know, but business communication, and that's a good thing. You don't want to just stay center as on-air talent, or do you want to go further in the business?
Oh, no, I want to be eventually an operations manager or a programming director.
Similar to what Kobe Cope does at Radio 1.
Yes. Kobe Cope is my operations manager, and I've been a mentor throughout my time working at Z1079.
So as soon as you graduated from University of Akron, you went straight, you got a job with Radio 1. I mean, how quickly was the graduation to employment? Like, how quick was that?
I want to say maybe like 2 or 3 weeks.
Weeks?
2 or 3 weeks.
I was actually waiting for months, you know.
I think I got a call back from Kobe like the week after graduation or a week before graduation. It was very quick. It was very quick. I was very fortunate.
So you've been there for almost like 3 years now. So what's the feeling like since, you know, you've been there so long? And most people when they graduate college, they don't always get their dream job. You know, you got a job at Radio 1, not a small mom and pop's radio station, but at a very large one. You know, so I mean, what's the feeling like to still have that job and maintain that? Because, you know, if you're not good, your ratings are not good, you're quickly out the door.
It was a blessing, and my experience that I got at the radio station Z88 in Akron, and then my education at the University of Akron, it just enabled me to do a little bit of everything. Behind the scenes, programming, production, marketing, sales. I just got to do every single thing that you could possibly do in radio and television and actually have it broadcasted to hundreds of thousands of people. Because our radio station out there is owned by the University of Akron, but it is operated very, very, very similar to how a Z1079 operates.
Okay.
So I was blessed. I mean, it's a blessing.
Still a blessing.
It's still a blessing. Yes, it's still a blessing. So.
Now we also talked about this off air. Was that unlike other radio stations, you know, not to name any names.
No, let's name them.
No, Radio 1 is always in urban areas, in the urban cities across the country, and their main focus is they like to outreach in their community. Have you done the outreach in Cleveland area with, you know, with your station?
Yeah, we're always in the streets. We make that a priority to be in the community, just in the city of Cleveland, because we realize and we know that we have more than just African American listeners. So we make it a priority to be everywhere. I mean, you'll pop up and find us in Canton. You know, you'll find us in Akron, you'll find us in Cleveland, you'll find us on the east side, on the west side. But it is really important for us to be in the community because our radio station, our entertainment, our information we provide, I mean, it is really the fabric of people's lives. You know, a lot of times, you ever notice when an artist will die? I don't mean to be morbid here, but it really does not hit somebody emotionally until they hear all their songs on the radio.
Oh yeah.
And people don't believe it until you just do not believe it until you hear it on the radio.
And people are crying. I'm not gonna lie, because you know you hear Left Eye and Aaliyah died around the same time a couple years ago. It was a music that a lot of people were relating to and like, oh, that's my favorite jam, and I'm so sad they're not here anymore. That's true. I never really thought about that until you said that. So I know this past week was the release of the non-guilty verdict of George Zimmerman, which you took part of a rally march for Trayvon Martin here in.
Well, what it was is they had a peaceful rally downtown outside of the Justice Center, and being that, like I said, Z1079, we're a part of people's lives, there were a lot of people who wanted to know what was going on. So we covered the Justice Rally. We didn't actually do it
host
or
it,
anything like that, but we wanted to cover it and take pictures and speak to some Clevelanders about how they felt about it. And I spoke to people from all different walks of life. That's what was cool about it, is that it was peaceful, and I got a chance to speak with people from all different races, generations, everything down there, who were in support of the reaction that a lot of people, had about the verdict that may not have agreed with it. It was just cool to see just all different walks of life.
Now, what about the 3 girls returning, back to their families? I think that just took place here in May. Did you guys take any part in that at all?
We covered that too. In fact, we worked with 19 Action News on a welcome home ceremony for them, where we walked across the bridge downtown.
Okay.
The West 25th Bridge, I believe it is.
I believe, yeah.
We partnered with them in just welcoming them home and celebrating the fact that they are on their journey to recovery. The day it happened, I was just getting off air, and I was in the studio with one of my friends at the radio station, Tropicana, and she was posting the story online. And like I said before, we're the fabric of people's lives. One of our listeners called in and helped us confirm, like, this is really happening. After she had broke the story already, tons of listeners were calling in saying, like, they were shocked as well.
Right.
And we had to air that. We had to, because those 3 young ladies are, in their early 20s. So I remember, like, being a kid when those girls went missing, you know what I mean? So it was very similar to, like, wow. What if I would have just been missing at the age of, 14 or 15? And
10 years is a lot to miss.
Yeah, I wouldn't be here with you.
I put myself in their shoes, and I was, little.
So, and the same thing with Trayvon. It's like, wow, I was 17 when I started. I was a teenager when I started in radio. So just to think that I would have been killed in general, or lost my life at that age, I would not be here with you. I wouldn't have been able to go to the Emmy Awards, or cover the BET Awards, or be on air, hosting a live broadcast, or
So you've done those 2 things already.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, see.
With the Great Lakes Regional Emmys, I got a chance to go. I want to say like 4 or 5 years ago.
Okay.
I want to say it was like 2000.
So how important do you think radio is in today's society? Like, how big is radio? I mean, there's some people may not feel like they need to listen to radio, that radio is kind of obsolete. Like, how important do you think radio is to people?
Sadly mistaken. Radio, okay, think about it. People, okay, you'll get upset if they change the TV channel. You know what I'm saying? If you turn from us right now, you know what I mean, you'll be salty, as we say in Cleveland. But people will go to war, and you will get your hand ripped off if you touch somebody's radio.
In the car.
So that right there should be enough for you. You know what I mean? So radio and music, and there's really no other intimate form of communication.
Well, just going back, just a little touch back on the University of Akron. You're actually in school now. You're going back. You're pursuing education.
Yep, higher education administration.
A master's degree, right?
Yeah, that's a graduate program.
So what made you go back to school after already getting a degree in business communication, to go back and get a degree in education now?
Well, with the world changing, and I was motivated and inspired by my general manager, Mr. Tom Beck at WZIP FM, and who he just retired earlier this month or late last month, and he just inspired and motivated me to not just make media, but to make a difference. So I wanted that to I wanted to pass that down to somebody else, and then I discovered this career field of higher education administration, which is the business of running a post-secondary institution or educational, something that's past high school.
Okay.
A lot of times I'll tell people that, they're like, you want to be a principal? It's like,
So what do you exactly want to do with education? Like,
well, one of my second dream jobs is to work in student affairs at a university and make that university and its students be able to go out into the world and compete and go hard just as I did. I was blessed and fortunate enough to get the experience, to the hands-on experience, the broadcasting experience, to just walk into a job.
All right. Well, I thank you, TJ, for coming in today and sharing with us. Let us listeners
Thank
know,
you.
how can they find you?
I'm on Twitter at TJ_radio, at Z1079, and Instagram, Facebook, all the same
All right.
thing.
Well, coming up next, we have Ishmael with Trucking.